My name is Chuck Nanini. I've been a member of this body for probably 24 years now.
So how do you know Pastor Cody?
Well, I had a friend pastor out in California. When I used to travel, I traveled out to California quite a bit and got to I did find a church. God led me there to Pastor Zamora and Rancho Cucamonga Baptist Church. Yeah. I called him once our pastor had retired and asked him if he knew of anybody that was available that he would recommend. And he realized what I was doing and said, "Are you asking me?" And I said, "No, I wouldn't do that. That's up to God to determine who comes to our church." So he was in the middle of a building program and said that would be impossible for him at this time. So he recommended Pastor Cool.
I'm working in Las Vegas and I get a call from Chuck Nanini saying, "Hey, we're looking for a pastor. You interested?" And I said, "Where are you at?" He goes, "Michigan." I'm like, "Michigan? Who lives there?"
He said, "No, I'm really not interested. I have a good position here and love it. We just bought a house, so I'm not really interested in moving." So I said, "Okay." Lo and behold, 2 days later, my phone rang and it was Pastor Cool. And he said, I think I want to take a shot and see what it's like. So
God brought us here because we weren't looking to go anywhere. All the counsel that we got about it was you need to pursue it until God closes the door. So we just did. And then the process started from there.
And so he came and we put him through a ringer for a weekend.
We just flew out of Vegas that day. It was 105. So it's like 72 degrees in Michigan. All the trees are bright orange, red, and yellow. I'm like, what is this magical place? I mean, I thought for sure a unicorn was going to come out of the woods. We see this church and we meet the people.
And we put him and Shonda through the ringer there asking questions and what they believe. And that went well. And we sat him at a table and we rotated people coming to sit with he and Chanda and question them on their beliefs and all of that and what they thought a pastor should be.
When we were flying back to Las Vegas, we were like, man, if they want us to come, we'll go.
We voted to bring Pastor on and gave him the news and he met it joyfully. And I suggested that they should come probably in April or May because it was just turning winter. He said, no, we're coming. And he came and we had a bunch of snow.
It snowed pretty much every night that winter. In fact, that was the winter of the Groundhog Day blizzard. I know that winter really well. It just snowed every day.
He would have these harebrained, wild ideas.
I had a lot of wacky ideas, I'm telling you right now.
And I would say, "What? You want to do what? Okay, let's go do it." And they all turned out to be, well, most of them anyhow, turned out to be successful in growing the church.
What has been like just seeing God use you grow this church?
Definitely can't give credit to my wife and I or any one person, but it's just this collaboration of Christian believers who desire to be part of something bigger than themselves.
So you guys were at the old building then, right?
Yep.
What was that like?
I didn't mind Breton Road. I know that Pastor says all the time that it was horrible, but...
It was horrible. It was sticky pew. It was hot. It was tiny. It was small.
You had to peel your back
off the pew.
Off of the pew because it actually truly stuck to the pew.
Yeah, we were thankful to move from the old building. I'll tell you what, that thing was like falling apart. It was a hunky rust box jalopy of a building. The city called me and said, "Hey, they're tearing down the building if you want to come by and watch." I got a lawn chair and watched. It was great.
Why did you guys stay then at those sticky pew church?
It was a good church.
He would just preach the Bible. Everything that was coming out of the Bible, it just really talked to my heart.
Tell me about how we moved into this building.
It's funny because this street I hate driving on, and I just never turned down this street. Well, this one day I did, and there was a sign that this building was for sale. And so I came and looked at the building, and I went upstairs and took a look at the building overall and said, well, this would really work out as a church. And so I went and got Pastor Cool. And
When I saw this building for the first time, I was like, oh yeah, this is where the auditorium's gonna go. This is where the nursery can be. This is where I see the children's center. This is where we see the teen center. And I'm like, oh dude, I see the whole thing, like day one.
so we made an offer and he accepted, and here we are.
Tell me, what would your lives be like if you guys never came to the church?
If I didn't come to this church, I don't think my life would have been as close to Jesus as it would have been.
I learned coming to this church what it is to really love people where they are. It doesn't mean you have to accept wrong theology or wrong things, but you still love the people. And that was huge. And that, to me, was just the biggest thing.
I think Cody's been preaching the same message for at least the 10 years we've known him. You know, it's having that relationship with Christ 7 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your Monday study ought to be as exciting as your Sunday church.
Having community and having people come alongside you and help you. And the Bible talks so much about when one falls, the other is able to help you up, and how important it is to not do that alone. You have a church family, that there's somebody there who God's placed to be there to hold your arms up. And then guess what? The next day, you might be good and they're not good. So you're there to do it for them. And that's just the most beautiful thing.
What would my life have been like? What would the church be like? It's hard to tell. Hard to tell.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not really sure. I think that we'd be somewhere where Cody was pastoring. He's just got a gift for people.
It would be warmer. I don't know. Honestly, I think wherever I would be, I'd be doing what I'm doing. I'm just thankful I'm doing it here.
Is there anything else that you would like to add?
I would like the church to know that my wife and I feel so blessed and privileged to serve them and be their friend and be their pastor. And we feel like we pastor the greatest church this side of the universe. There's no other place I'd rather be. If I go anywhere else, I'm like, man, I just want to be back home. I want to be back at the GR.Church. I want to be back with our people. And I think that being part of God's work here with God's people is one of the most thrilling parts of life. That's one unique aspect of the church I think that's missing, is like the church was created so we can get through a crazy, chaotic life and get through it with friendships and a sound mind and to get through it together as a family. I think it's really important.
GR.Church has grown tremendously over the last 11 years, not because of anything that we have done, but because we have simply stayed true to God's word and allowed Him to move in ways despite ourselves. Church family, thank you for staying faithful these last 11 years. We cannot wait to see how God works in the years to come.